Let's talk about the GIFFORD Wear pillars. Here are the genesis principles. 1. No leaky boats. 2. Creation, not inflation. 3. Perma-Bull tokenomics. Create and remove. Subsects are simulation, not speculation. Principles, not promises. And 3. If you use the tools correctly, you are a founder, not a holder. GIFFORD Wear tokens operate off of what we call genesis principles. These are the core pillars that work off of each other to make this technology different. I want to share with you some of the core principles, these first 3. Number 1, no leaky boats. What does this mean? This core pillar is where we started when putting together GIFFTEC. We wanted to ensure that there was no major externalities that would detract from the system. That's things like hops and swaps, inflation, power and energy, etc. Put simply, we tested to make sure there were no major leaks in the boat that could later lead to protocols taking on water and then essentially sinking and failing. Most crypto protocols have a leaky boat, whether it's simply a power consumption issue, computing issue, or some other future thinning of value service offering. Let's talk about leaky boats for a minute in popular cryptos that you've heard of. Bitcoin. Bitcoin is proof of power. At first, it was decentralized proof of power, and you could do it by yourself with mining Bitcoin. The issue starts with the back-end system or blockchain of Bitcoin, that as it fills up, it needs more people to lift that weight up. This is because Bitcoin is being mined, and you are essentially solving a complex math equation in order to earn the rewards, aka mining. So it's a loaded computation that gets heavier and heavier as the system ages, while cutting the rewards miners get in the process. As Bitcoin ages, more people and more power is required. This is a leaky boat. ETH. ETH is proof of work, but more importantly, it's proof of programming because we are taking the proof of work concept and adding this EVM component, essentially one single entity maintained by thousands of connected computers running an Ethereum client, setting the rules for how these complexities can be called and how to turn into a virtual machine. But the same issue exists because what happens when you need more juice out of the VM, it costs more power, or in this case, more gas. Now let's take this a step further and talk about another protocol that merged some of the above ideas with a new element, and that is time. Third up is Hex. Hex launched on the ETH network, so from the start, it was restricted to the same shortcomings as ETH and the cost to interact on that chain. The unique element of time was expressed through staking based on different durations, creating a compounded amount of value called a T-share, representing trillions of hex. Then as the protocol grew, it diluted down to B shares, etc., etc. The T-share was proof of time. So now we're using the EVM side, which is proof of programming, but it still needs power. Stakes, which create T-shares, trillion shares, which is resolution of power nodes similar to the mining farms in Bitcoin. So you can see the correlation between these two ideals, but one does one thing and one can do many things, but costs more to do it. Hope you're still with me. If Hex would have never moved to PulseChain and launched on their own layer 1, it would have been a proof of gas protocol because for many years, the cost of unstaking would have costed more than the value of the staked assets in the first place you're getting in return, leading many to abandon the stakes completely, which then gets recycled back into the existing stakers, creating once again duality of rich versus poor. Since they did move, however, Zen protocol proved itself to be proof of gas while also bringing back the idea of a fair launch crypto. It's also worth noting that PulseChain didn't solve the gas issue that ETH faces. When more network participants come in, all it did was mirrored and duplicated over an exact copy and added more zeros to the end to make it cheaper to transact on. So on a long enough timeline, you may see the same exact issues on PulseChain that you had on ETH, creating usability issues based on social classes worldwide. Pillar number 2, creation, not inflation. What does this mean to have no inflation? Well, we watched as other protocols created yield by inflation, handing out airdrops while creating inflation, etc., etc. While none of them were looking to implement a vehicle or tool that would deflate the currency or remove supply. Everyone wants their cake and ice cream all at once. Very few actually realize there is a cost to deploying these things, even though they get a lot of clout to do so. A great example of a vehicle or tool that absorbed inflation would be the OA concept that was used with the Hex protocol. Not sure people caught on to it, but having circulating supply, essentially dead coins, is another concept that can be implemented to, again, absorb supply and inflation. Now, the process of creating something versus inflating it and sending it out of thin air, like an airdrop, is different. To create, you have to put up some economic energy in order to get something in return. We are forging this thing like you would level up your weapons in a game on a special building bench. In this case, you are putting up some coins and maybe, say, a protocol fee, and then forging, aka creating the new thing from it. Pillar number 3, Perma-Bull tokenomics. Do you know where your economic energy is going? Where is the energy you are using to interact with that smart contract going? Well, we again used the above and mashed it all together and figured out a way to create a perpetual loop that feeds itself so the protocol is protected from bad actors, traders, and those looking to profit and run. The concept of Perma-Bull tokenomics can simply be defined as this. How do we create a system that refines its economic energy to continue the token going up and to the right, again, while protecting from bad actors? The user's economic energy infuses the token in a way that benefits the system and protocol, not the founders. You can achieve this through buying up your own supply at market prices. You can achieve this by using a protocol fee to buy and burn supply of one coin or another, ensuring that over time the currency is deflating. You can do this by any other way of deflating your currency over time versus inflating it like you see most protocols doing. These 3 Genesis principles, or pillars, let's call them, are the backbone of what we have created at GIFFTEC. And we will continue to merge game mechanics with currency mechanics to create fun protocols for ambitious users to interact with. Remember, what's best for the system is best for the user. Believe in the protocol, not the team. Lastly, something worth mentioning here on this point of Perma-Bull tokenomics is how the team is teaching and encouraging users to sell through providing liquidity, or LP for short, versus dumping on the open market. Look, we get that at some point everyone will sell, everyone wants to take profits. That said, there are ways to do it that aren't in a detriment to all other users in the system, and providing liquidity is an easier way for you to scale out of your position, especially if you have a larger position, and still take profits. Lastly, let's talk about these 3 sub-principles. First, simulation, not speculation. We are testing these ideals and principles in real time. We're doing it live, baby. This allows us to be more dynamic and change in the moment if we have to. Take, for example, us placing the PGIFF protocol launch in front of Pulsar. We did that to apply new experiments that we can use and apply to something like Pulsar, which we have now done testing like this with several launches that we put in front of Pulsar, giving us more data to apply to future protocols. You can expect us to continue to do this moving forward. Next, principles, not promises. Most people in the crypto space are used to roadmaps, fancy overbuilt websites promising the world access to a dev team so crispy Karens can talk to the manager, and we subscribe to none of that. Because first off, that doesn't help shape an independent, sovereign individual. It's exhausting for everyone around, and more importantly, principles like code don't require trust in a dev team. They require trust in a protocol, and that is what we are going for. Lastly, if you use the tools correctly, you are a founder, not a holder. When we use the tools as they are designed to be used, you are displaying a long-term mindset similar to that of a founder, as founders are always thinking long-term and not letting short-term price fluctuations shake them out of their resolution. You are also benefiting the system in the best way possible by fueling it in a way it was designed to be fueled, which benefits the whole instead of the few. Because of this, we look at you as a founder and welcome you to the game.
We're on a surge. Electrify the beat. GIFFORD wears the word.
Feel free to ask any questions in the public Telegram room for those who want to dig deeper into this Perma-Bull ecosystem, and share your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you found this video useful, and click the bell icon for more content like this. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.